Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back on the XR. Back to bringing boxes downtown. Hopefully this works with my mic. Doesn't, just gotta go check the car. I'm hoping this mic doesn't give me trouble. Last night it gave me trouble. I ordered a new one because it gave me trouble. So I think what I'll do is I'll work my way to 56th Street. That's going to be the easiest way for me to get to 14th Street. That's where I had the collision with the cyclist. So it's not a good luck place. Oh, I'm wearing the Helite Turtle vest, airbag vest. So we'll see how it goes with that. I'm doing a review on it right now. I attach it to my bars. Fairly simple. It looks like the distance is right, so if you fell off the bike, you know, in a collision. But it's strong enough there that you wouldn't have accidental problems, you know. It's pretty strong that you wouldn't have accidental stuff going on. Wow, it's actually a little warm today. Yeah, it looks alright. Pretty tidy. This thing doesn't look too good, though. I'm gonna have to put a tie wrap on that. Yeah, so the issue was that I collided with a cyclist, and it was actually pretty bad, but I made it bad for myself and not the cyclist. That was the real problem to me. The cyclist didn't really have a problem at all. I just hit his front wheel. And that was the end of that. I went down pretty hard though on my right side. And it was on the KLR, so I think the toolbox on the back, the you know, the case that I got, the Pelican case, I think it actually hit my back and broke a couple ribs. They weren't dislocated like ribs, they were just cracked, but it totally sucked. Real painful to breathe. So that was the only problem with that. There was an undercover cop that was on my right. I was checking him out, just make sure he wasn't gonna light me up. What's this little thing here? Is that a TW200? Oh wow, I think it is actually. Yeah, it's a Yamaha TW200. Nice bike. Perfect for the city. Big wide tire on it. A little bit low to the ground though. That's the only problem with that bike. But that makes it easier in traffic though. If you're too high up and you go to put a foot down, you know, when a taxi cuts you off or something, you're on uneven ground, you're going to lay the bike down. And on the KLR, with the extra weight, that really bit me hard, man, with the fact that the weight of the KLR is quite a lot. And slamming down on the right side, that was not pretty. That's why I cracked a couple of ribs. It's a lot of weight coming down. And plus, I had actually raised that bike up a little bit because I had problems with the suspension linkage. The suspension linkage on the KLR was actually seized up. I couldn't get the pivot bolt out. You know, when I was servicing the bike down in Florida, because every so often I do work on the bike in Florida just to get it up to spec after winter. And I started noticing that the bike was not right on the rear, like the swing arm wasn't going up and down right. So I worked on that pivot bolt for like a whole day, and I checked out some videos on it, but it looked like it was hit or miss, and that's exactly what happened to me. That pivot bolt I was just working at it, heating it, doing everything to it, and it wasn't breaking free. The pivot bolt is where that goes through your swing arm and attaches to the other side of the bike through the frame, and it actually attaches to like a something they call a dog bone. But from what I found out, the KLR is susceptible to rust intrusion on that, and that's exactly what happened to me. The pivot bolt just became seized up, and I tried everything with that, heating it with a blowtorch, banging on it with a big sledgehammer, everything you could think of, but nothing was coming out. It just was not coming out. Now that horn sounds weird. The KLR horn was nice. I put that truck horn on it. It was nice. People responded to that. Yeah, so basically what I did was I got the pivot bolt, at least there's like these weeping holes in the dog bone, and that's where water comes in. They're wide open. So I sprayed PP Blaster in there. I got it to move, but the bolt still was seized up. So I got it just to move, and I gave up on it. And I went ahead and I did I greased it up real well. It was moving, but not as freely as it should be. So I put an Eagle Mic raising link on it, because what I noticed was, that thing, if it reached its limit, would get stuck, and it would get free. It would get like hosed up, and it would get locked up on me. And when it would get locked up, it wouldn't free up like in the high end of its linkage. I don't know what those guys are fucking around with. But anyway, let's see, maybe I have a strap came off or something. I'll take a look. I'll pull over after this. It is nice to be on the XR, but I do think this bike does not get the same mileage as the KLR. Because I noticed, but the KLR has a much bigger tank, but I'm going to have to change the tank on this thing, because it's, if I'm going to be going around on this as my primary bike, I'm going to have to get a bigger tank on it. And that I think is going to be a little bit of an issue for me, because I'm afraid to put a bigger tank on it, because I'm afraid about what that will do. Both things are on there. Alright. And both of these are on. Okay. Everything's on the strap, so I don't know what those guys were honking about. I get nervous when people honk like that. So yeah, anyway, that pivot, I put the Eagle Mic raising link on there, and the KLR was actually sitting higher, because what was happening with that dog bone was sometimes it would get stiff, and the bike would actually sit upright, like ready to fall over. And I didn't know what else to do, and I tried for a second day to get that pivot bolt out, and I just couldn't do it. So what I did was I went ahead and put an Eagle Mic raising link on there. The Eagle Mic raising link put the bike right so it sat properly. But the problem was with the Eagle Mic raising link, the bike sat actually higher. It actually made the bike higher up about an inch. So it even more trouble with a bike that heavy. So actually, what I should have done was just fix the dog bone rather than fuck around and bring the height of the bike up. Because by bringing the height of the bike up, I actually was doing a detriment to myself, making it more dangerous to get the bike. It was just more dangerous for the bike. Just generally not a good idea. And I just didn't know, so I raised it up. But I actually wasn't clear on that wasn't a good idea. So I raised it up, not realizing that was actually going to make it more unsafe. Because, if you think about the KLR, it's a 450-pound bike, maybe even 460. And with all I had a cargo box on there that was 50 pounds. It's too heavy of a bike, And luckily, actually, when I had the accident, though, I did not have the box in the back. Thank God, because that box, the merchandise in the box would have been gone. Because the police are not going to safeguard that, and it's just not their job. They'll make sure your bike is on the side of the road, but that's about it. And they kind of fucked me because they towed the bike to like some scam lot in Astoria. And listen, people got side jobs going on. We know that. If I get an emergency call that's, if I get like some emergency call subcontracted to me and it's on a Friday night at 7 p.m., I'm gonna slam the person a little bit, But I'm not gonna rip him off, but I'm gonna charge enough to cover my time. And I don't know what these cops, what their deal was, but they definitely made some commission on it because I heard them talking about it. They were like, it used a lot in Astoria. The first cop said, should we tow it to the precinct, and then the other cop said, no, just bring it to Astoria. And I even heard them talking, and I said, you can bring it to the precinct because it's just a motorcycle, it's not a car. It'd be fairly easy to put it somewhere. But, they just were not the slightest bit interested in helping me out, which I can understand. They don't know me, and if they can earn $400, but this place in Astoria, they only had the bike for one night. It brought in at 7:30 p.m. and then I called them the same night and asked them what the fee would be, and they said, well, we're closing, but it's going to be $1,500 and tomorrow will be $1,700. And I was like, wow. So I called the precinct right away, and I was like, listen, because the cops told me outside, they said it's only going to be $300. And I was like, yeah, that's reasonable enough, I understand you got to tow it. I thought maybe they were going to make like a little commission on that. But $1,500, man, you got to be kidding me. So that totally fucking changed my situation big time. $1,500 is no small chump change. And that, I was just like, when I called that same night, I was shocked. So I called the place back, and the lady was like, listen, do yourself a favor, just go insurance, because we're not. I said, can you negotiate the rate? She's like, no. And I was like, wow, $1,500 for just a one-day towing was insane. Like, for a motorcycle, which I just couldn't believe. And then they had some additional fees for road cleanup, which I don't know what that was all about either. But man, holy shit, that's expensive. Even for New York, that's... Because if the city tows you, it's $375, you know. That's the city. You know, New York City is the biggest ripoff of all, but their maximum fee is $375 plus the ticket, which is $115. So I was like totally shocked, you know. But what could I do, you know? There's nothing I could do. That's how much it was. So I went to the insurance company, and they were like, okay, we'll take care of the whole thing. And I said, well, what if I want to pay the insurance, you know, the towing, and then take a look at the bike, and I don't want to total it? Because the bike was, by the way, was not totaled in any way, shape, or form. It just landed on its right side. But you know a KLR, I mean, it's not going to, a KLR is not going to be total from landing on its right side, even at 20 miles an hour, unless you slam into something. And there was nothing slammed into, so I was like, what the fuck, you know. So this is where the accident was, right here too. I was coming through and a guy blew through the light. I mean, people do that. You see that messenger guy, he went right through the light. That's standard procedure here. I mean, that's my fault, because if you're gonna hit a cyclist, and that's why I'm glad nothing happened to him, because if you hit a cyclist, it's your fault no matter what. Nobody's looking at any cameras to see if the light was red or none of that shit's happening. The cops don't check anything. You know, those cameras, the street, thanks, the NYPD checks cameras when someone gets murdered. But that's about it. They don't really check that for anything else. So that's the deal there. Let me bring this up on the curb. I'll just put this right here. Well, so anyway, I'm alright. I decided to get a vest because of what happened. I thought it would be an issue on this bike, because this is light. This bike is 340 pounds, 340 I think, or maybe even 320, I don't know. But I gotta figure out the tank thing though, because it's really fucked up how much time, you know, how much fuel you have to keep adding in this thing. And if anybody could let me know, what is the actual mileage of the XR per gallon? Because I have a feeling the XR is actually not good, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's actually I don't think it's that good, I have to admit. Funny to say, but I think the KLR is actually better. Probably around 55. Whereas this thing is probably in the 40 range. It's definitely got a lot more pep though. Alright, everybody, see you on the next one.